We were not identical twins, not identical in any way. Even as kids, my mama says, we were as different as day and night, black and white. For one thing, Vinny had this bright red hair, a red-headed Italian. My hair's always been black like the rest of the family. Vinny, he was this rambunctious kid, always overactive. I remember he broke something 3 summers in a row. His arm, his wrist, his collarbone. He wasn't athletic as much as he was physical, climbing trees, riding bikes in the pouring rain, showing off on the monkey bars. He drove our folks crazy with the hospital bills. I was always the opposite of Vinny, even our names, Anthony and Vincent. How's that for 2 Italian Catholic boys from New York? Nobody ever called me Tony, ever, to this day, but he was always Vinny. Nobody ever called him Vincent. I was always Anthony, serious, studious, determined to make our parents proud. When I enrolled in the seminary, Vinny enrolled in cosmetology school. I swear he did it just to infuriate our folks. It was a deliberate act of defiance. A hairdresser? While I stayed close to home, Vinny traveled all over the world, London, Paris, Rome. We lost touch with him. Then one Sunday evening, I was visiting my folks. I have dinner with my folks every Sunday evening. And this news segment came on the TV, something about Gay Pride Day in San Francisco. And there was Vinny, larger than life, red hair and all, in a parade, twirling a baton. Well, there were lots of tears from my mom and shouting from my dad. They decided to disown him. I remember there were lots of AIDS victims in the parade, and my father saying it was God's will. The next Sunday in church, my sermon upheld the teachings of the Catholic Church. Homosexuality is not condoned. There is no such thing as safe sex. Abstinence is the answer. At least my parents had one son to be proud of. I was shocked to hear from Vinny about a year later, since we had hardly spoken in our entire adult lives. He had 2 tickets to go to Paris, he said, and he wanted to take his twin brother. I don't know why, but without telling my parents, I went. The first night there, we went to this elegant restaurant, Dodin Bouffant. Vinny chose it partly because of the name. A hair reference. Bouffant, as in girl singers from the 50s, he said. He could be very funny. There was this blonde woman at the table across from us who mesmerized me. I guess you could say she was a free spirit. She was flirting with this older, bald man, kissing his smooth, shiny head, running her long red fingernails across his neck. Very sexy, seductive. When she got up to leave, I got a look at her long black skirt, slit all the way up, revealing these incredible legs. She was so comfortable with herself, so uninhibited, so passionate. She reminded me of Vinny. The next day, we went to the Louvre to see the David show. There was a woman being yanked away from the exhibit by her crude husband. "You've seen enough," he said. Determined to please him, she left, looking longingly over her shoulder at all those dramatic, sensuous masterpieces. She was wearing a white blouse buttoned all the way up, strangling her. She looked squelched, constipated. I saw myself in her. Those 2 women were as different as Vinny and me. The Paris trip didn't make much sense until about 6 months later, when I got word that my twin brother was in the hospital and would probably not leave. Again, unbeknownst to my parents, I went to his side. I'll say this, he never lost his sense of humor. He was shaving one day. He insisted on shaving himself, even though he was terribly weak, and he dropped the hand mirror. It shattered. In my case, that's 7 days bad luck, he said. died 8 days later. He lost all of his beautiful red hair. I have been a priest for almost 10 years, and being with my brother when he died is the only spiritual experience I've ever known. I kissed his bald head, and I caressed his neck with my fingertips. After he died, I told him a secret. We are identical, I said. I have AIDS too. I did not get infected from handling my brother's vomit. I did not get infected from wiping my brother's tears. I did not get infected from touching my brother's shit. I did not get infected from tasting my brother's saliva. I loved his diarrhea. I loved his puke. I loved his sweat, and I loved his... I got infected from having sex with young boys in my parish, hustlers off the street, husbands of wives who come to me for marriage counseling. Being a good Catholic, I didn't use a condom. Neither did they. Not only have I, in the name of Holy Mother, the Church, murdered my own twin brother, I have killed all my brothers. How many Hail Marys should I say for penance? Perhaps I should splatter not red paint, but my own blood on the steps of the Vatican. Perhaps I should pin a pink triangle onto my long black skirt. Perhaps I should learn how to love my fellow man. If it weren't for my parents, they're in their 70s, it would kill them. I'm all that they have. Father Anthony is all that they have. If there is a God, which I doubt, surely he will have mercy and take them